What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. This is your coach, Grant Eilertson here, seven-figure sales coach and producer. But today's video, it's not about me. It's about you because chances are you've gone through a bunch of the different YouTube videos that I got on here about different sales tactics and the right questions to ask. And you're like, wow, I could be a sales savage, but I don't have a sales role yet. So how do I actually find one that's going to be good? So in today's video, we're going to cover how to create your dream sales gig. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and let's go ahead and just dive right on into it. So here we go, creating your dream sales gig. Now there's a couple really important things that we need to cover first before we dive in, and that is a couple keys. Nobody is coming to save you. Your life is your choice. And this is a really important thing to understand as a sales rep, because one of the other keys is results are all that matter. You're not going to get paid for the time that you put in or the work that you put in. You're only going to be paid based on results. So if that scares you, go ahead and leave. This isn't for you. But if you are ready to face rejection and get paid only on results, I promise you the sky is the limit. And it's pretty cool when you get this stuff nailed down. So last thing is important quote to remember: be of value to valuable people. When you can be of value to valuable people, you'll find that the opportunities presented in your life are limitless. So why even consider selling for someone else in the first place? A couple things. A good gig is going to market for you. Now, there are some sales roles out there where they'll expect you to go and hunt for your own leads. Can they be incredibly lucrative? Sure thing, but that's not my jam. And you'll understand a little bit more about that when I go through my own sales background. Number two, you don't have to do fulfillment work. You sell the program and you walk away, and you let the influencer or the owner of said program do the fulfillment work for you. This is huge. Number three is you can truly set your own schedule. Because you're paid on results, it's not a matter of I got to work 9 to 5, 100%. If you get the results for the account owner, you're going to be in great standing, and you will have a lot of freedom and flexibility with how and when you choose to work. Number four, you can use your commissions to fund other ventures that create wealth. Maybe you're not someone that wants to run your own business. Maybe you are someone who wants to invest in real estate or the stock market. Well, I'm here to tell you that working in sales is quite possibly the best way to accumulate a lot of capital in a very short amount of time, provided you've gone through all of my sales trainings and you understand how to be the best rep possible. Now, quick break. If you haven't already, go down below, smash the like button for me. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm so that we can get this content in front of other people who really need it. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Yep, right down there. Just scroll. Okay, the thumbs up. Smashed? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So let's dive into my sales background so you can have a little bit of an understanding of who I am and why I'm here today if we haven't already met. So my first true sales job was for GNC. And this was basically selling nutritional supplements. I started when I was 17. They hired me a little bit early. Don't tell anyone. I didn't tell them because I was really hungry to work in a position where I actually had control over what I made. Previous to that, I was in the grocery space. It sucked and the pay sucked. Not cool. But you see, most people are content with working hourly. But you're here because you think a little bit differently too. So again, my first true sales job was for GNC. And by setting company sales records, I actually got promoted to manager of my own store in 4 months. So this was cool because now I had the opportunity to set my own schedule to a degree. I mean, the unfortunate thing about working in retail is if one of your employees is out sick or something happens, well, it's on you to cover it. So once I had capped out my earning potential at GNC, I didn't really have a whole lot of flexibility in terms of when I wanted to work. It ended up being about 60, 70-hour weeks just to keep things running. So I took the knowledge that I had in the fitness space as a result of being in bodybuilding for a few years and selling a bunch of supplements, and I decided to start my own fitness consulting business. It was called Raise the Bar Training. And that still is my LLC to date, but we do sales consulting work instead. Now, I'm skipping a little bit ahead because when I dove right in, I thought I could do it all myself. I was a guy that was typically able to figure out things on my own. And so I figured, well, why would this be any different? Well, here's the thing. I sucked for about a year. I made basically no money because I just didn't understand how to sell in an online space. That was until I got smart enough to hire a coach. You need to remember this. Asking for help is not being weak. It's being smart. So after I hired my first coach by simply just using their sales script, which was a word for word thing, and I never recommend going through and reading a word for word script, but if you've gone through any of my other sales trainings, you'll understand why, because it separates you from the other person, and sales is a people game. It's a people game. You really do need to be present, authentic, and connect. Asking the right questions, of course, to lead them down the road to making their own educated and empowered decision. But scripts, if you're following one, cut it out. Go to tiny.cc/6questions, and you'll get my sales simplified framework. It's a few questions that, when asked correctly, create the possibility for closing multiple 5-figure deals in one call closes. Most I've sold is $30,000 offers over the phone, one call close. And it was actually pretty darn easy because I implemented these structures that you've learned through my other YouTube videos. Now, after using their sales script, I closed about $7.5 grand in my new business in new business in my first week of working with that coach. This is the power of getting a coach, someone that can actually show you what to do. Because previous to that, I had never made more than $5 grand in a year in my fitness consulting business. And this right here basically doubled what I was able to do as a manager of a GNC. That said, after growing the business to multiple 6 figures in annual revenue, I got tired, honestly, of selling fitness. And so I just left the business as a whole. Now, this is one of my very few regrets. I did not systematize the business to the point at which I could keep it running without my involvement. Don't do that. If you've put in the time and effort to build a business like that, then allow it to be something that can run itself after you by putting in place systems and structures so that you can duplicate yourself. So after getting tired of selling fitness and leaving the business, I actually started selling for the business that made me successful on my own. It's called High Impact Coach. And if you are a fitness coach or you know one and they're not yet in the program, well, be a good neighbor and get them in. And if it's you that is not already in there, make it happen. By far the best results of any consulting business for fit pros anywhere that I've ever seen. And this is why I was really happy to sell it for myself. Now, that said, after running sales for them for a few months, I wanted to diversify what I was selling to create more stability. Now, this is something that was important to me. It might not be important to you, but I wanted to ensure that I never had roller coaster months based on the leads that were created from that business. I wanted control. So what I did is I found an influencer that was growing really quickly in the online business space. And I reached out and I found out that he had an affiliate program for 40% commission for his course. Now, when you're looking at offers to sell, there's a couple different kinds of offers. You've got done for you, which is typically a higher end agency style offer. You've got done with you, which is typically coaching and consulting. And then you've got do it yourself. Now, for do it yourself offers, because it's infinitely scalable, meaning this is like a course or a masterclass, for example, these influencers can stand to pay a lot higher commission. So just keep that in mind. 40% commission as a sales rep, not standard. Oftentimes you'll be more in the ballpark of about 10 to 15. I personally wouldn't touch anything less than 10% with a 10-foot pole, but that is something we can get into later. So I reached out and I found that he had an affiliate program for 40% commissions on his $999 course. So that means $400 per close. So I just began selling his offer as an affiliate on my own. I started reaching out to my Facebook network and was like, yo, this is something that could change your freaking life. I just want to introduce you to it. If it's not for you, totally cool. Went through and sold a bunch of them. After making about 10 sales, I actually proposed to coming on to sell full time. Now, this is something that's really important. I didn't just show up asking for a handout. I showed up ready to work, put money into his business, and then asked if I could support him with doing more. And what I found out is at the time he was doing about 20 grand a month, but he was also so overloaded with taking sales calls that he ended up canceling a bunch of them just so that he could get some sleep because he was burnt out. And so I asked him a simple question. I said, how much money did you leave on the table today? He said, well, quite a bit. I said, well, how much longer are you going to be okay with doing that? So it was a really easy sell for me to come on and sell for him full time. So think about, where could you possibly add value to someone else, right? Be of value to valuable people. Well, I came on, I took him from 20 grand a month to over 100 grand a month in about 3 months. We did a lot of stuff together. It was a lot of fun. And you can actually see one of my videos on here, shortcutting your next 7 figures in sales, will show you exactly my sales process. Then, as a result of doing that for about a year, I ended up creating my own sales methodologies. Like I said, scripts, they suck, but frameworks are freaking important. So the way that my brain works is I compartmentalize things into frameworks to make them easy to remember. That way it's not a matter of memorizing the perfect thing to say, but it's understanding situational awareness so that you can direct conversations to sales without being sleazy. And that's exactly what you'll find when you go to tiny.cc/6 questions. So after creating my own sales methodologies, I began coaching in both influencers programs because I figured, well, how can I be of more value to these people? Because as you'll see, the more you add value to valuable people, the more you will be paid accordingly. So after coaching in both influencers programs, I continued documenting my own sales process and got to the point where I could pretty much train someone to fully replace me in a matter of a couple months. So that allowed me to start handing off sales calls to reps that we hired. And now I just manage sales teams and make overrides on company revenue. And I have a lot of fun doing so because I love to foster talent in people with hunger. Because in this sales role, you have complete control over your income. Making 10, 15, 20 grand a month, it is so reasonable if you develop your skills and you are paired with the right offer, the right commission structure. So let's cover a couple keys to finding a role if you didn't pick them up through my own sales journey. Number 1, invest in a program that you would love to sell and learn it inside out so that nobody else could possibly sell it better than you. If you do this, you will put yourself in a fantastic position with leverage. I've been through the program. I've experienced the results, and I can speak to it possibly even better than you yourself as the influencer. That's a pretty cool thing to be able to say. Number 2, sell an influencer's programs through their affiliate program, or ask if they'd be open to setting up a specific affiliate arrangement just for you. You might be surprised if you've never thought of this before to find that, guess what? When someone reaches out to ask me if they can put money in my pocket, I'm going to say, yeah, of course. So this is another one of those things. Again, be of value to valuable people. In fact, if you haven't already, go ahead and comment below. Be of value to valuable people. I want you to lock that into your subconscious. And while you're down there, if you haven't already for some reason, come on, smash that like button. It'll really help us out in the YouTube algorithm. And take a moment to hit the subscribe button too if you appreciate me showing up here to bestow upon you this kind of content. I make no money from it. I'm doing this just because I love you and I want you to be successful too. So after making sales for them, of course, sell them on why they should bring you onto the team full time and negotiate your commission structure. See, if you're just showing up asking, hey, can I sell for you? Well, you've got no leverage whatsoever. They can tell you exactly how it's going to be. But if you've already put money into their pocket, I guarantee you they're going to take you a lot more seriously and you'll have leverage in negotiating your commission structure. This is huge. And make sure that when you are negotiating your commission structure, that it is in alignment with the company's goals. Set up a bonus structure as well so that when you accomplish the company goals, you are paid accordingly. I guarantee you, if you, for example, are able to find an influencer like I did, where they're doing about 20 grand a month, for example, and they have this dream of running $1 million business. And you say, well, I'll get you there. And I'd like to discuss a appropriate commission structure to reflect the efforts that it's going to take for me to get you there. Bonuses are sweet. You should definitely consider that. Now, another thing is a lot of people consider working for a sales agency. I've done that too. I didn't include it because it was a short-term part-time gig. And here's why I stopped. While they will do a lot of the work for you with pairing you up with offers, understand that that comes with a cost. Typically, when an influencer is going to hire a sales agency, for example, they might pay 20%. And maybe you get 10 of that 20% for closing the deals. Where does the other 10% go? Not in your pocket. If you sourced the deal and negotiated that commission structure, you would effectively double your income without putting in any additional work. So understand that going with a sales agency really only makes sense if you value the coaching that you will receive more than the commissions, because you are going to make less. But if you're aligned with the right company, you will increase your earning potential dramatically. Dramatically. I want to make sure that that is, this is like a really important point. I have never received better coaching than when I worked for someone that I wanted to learn from. See, when you're a client, yes, of course, they should and oftentimes will value seeing you successful. However, no one will be more invested in developing your talent as a salesperson than someone who is relying on your production to pay their bills. Again, no one will pay you more or no one will be more invested in seeing you be successful than someone for whom you are creating the revenue in their business. So again, I have received the best coaching ever from people who I've worked for, not people who I've hired. This is one really important thing to understand if you want to be in the top 5% of sales reps. Most people will never come anywhere close. But that said, you probably wouldn't have watched this video to this point if you were like most people. So understand those keys to finding a role and go out there and change the freaking world. So I hope that you enjoyed this quick overview of my own sales background and you were able to understand a couple of the keys that I dropped for creating your dream sales gig. If you like this video, toss me a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, drop a comment about what kind of content would support you most as an entrepreneur or a sales rep. And make sure you hit the subscribe button on the way out. I love you, and I will continue to prove it with my actions. I'll see you in the next one.